Hi, this is Ed Keating at Cannabis Media, and we're doing the Cannabis Media podcast live from the MJBizCon 2021. Today, we're joined by OG Cannabis Insurance, and Manuel Cuaron is with us. Manny, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, got to ask, what does the OG stand for in your company name?
So, when we were developing our website, we wanted to incorporate what we felt was our talents and services and the cannabis industry in talking about what we feel is a top shelf policy and products. So the OG in the industry was kind of the way of our naming ourselves as a top shelf insurance company. And so we decided OG Cannabis Insurance was the easiest way to explain that, and it made a whole lot of sense for our website.
Now, I've known you for years coming to these shows and whatnot. So obviously we're both here many years later, thank goodness that our businesses have thrived. Tell me about who you service in the industry. Is it the whole value chain from growers right up to dispensaries, or are there places that you focus on a little bit more deeply? Yeah,
that's right. So we can insure anybody in the license ecosystem, from dispensaries to distribution to manufacturing. We're licensed in all legally cannabis licensed states, and we can also insure all the ancillary businesses. So if you're security or consulting or construction, we've got insurance policies that are fully transparent with cannabis operations. The carriers know exactly what you're doing. So come claim time, there's no issues with claim denials or policy exclusions.
Oh, makes sense. Now, as you look at states and those that you cover, are there differences for you in terms of how you have to write the insurance, if it's a medical state versus an adult state or one that has both?
Yeah, so each state has a different licensing compliance when it comes to insurance. Matter of fact, in California, there's even insurance requirements on the city level. And so what we do is make sure that you're compliant on both of those sides as far as insurance is concerned. As far as the other states, the things that really stand out are some of the weather-related claims that are unique to, let's say, Oklahoma, where you might have wind and hail and tornado season. Or things in Florida where you might have, hurricane and all those other things. So it is a state and a case by case basis when we look at a policy, because every risk is going to be different.
Yeah. So one of our customers in the insurance space came to us years ago and said, hey, when you're talking to processors, can you find out what kind of extraction they do? Because he says, I'd like to know about volatile extraction or not. So is that something that is going to impact somebody's insurance as you write for them, if you know that they're using, let's say, butane versus something more benign?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it right on the nose. So part of the underwriting process of the carriers want to know all about your operations, extraction, how you safeguard that. Do you have the right ventilation? Do you have a closed loop system?
Yeah.
And what method you're using. Those are all underwriting questions that are very important when it comes to covering the risk. So yeah, you hit it right on the nose.
Yeah.
We do need to know that up front.
So when we first met many years ago, I was impressed because you were really doing a lot of your own research. In the California market, you were getting local licenses. You knew some of the same people that we did.
Yeah.
Now, as we look across and we see all these new states coming on board or expanding their programs, what does that mean for you and your team? Like New Mexico is going to expand their program, or Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. How does that impact how you navigate forward?
So number one, it's opportunity. It's an opportunity to continue what we do as a business. We definitely want to see the culture and business grow and become more mainstream. So what we do from a business aspect is we just go to those markets, introduce ourselves, talk to all the movers and shakers, and let them know exactly how we can help those businesses grow and protect them, and do what we do.
Cool. And how does Cannabis Media fit into your plans? Like, how do we hopefully assist you in meeting some of those goals?
Yeah, so the main thing that you guys do is get us that data. That data is super important, so we can get that initial outreach in marketing.
Yep.
And getting a hold of the right people and getting a hold of the right companies, so that way we can help further our message much faster than what we can do on the ground.
Got it. And looking to Washington and all the discussion there about rules changing at the federal level, would any of those changes, matter for you, like anything on 280E or safe banking, or is insurance sort of its own enclave that wouldn't be affected by much of that?
No. The SAFE Act has some regulations that's going to allow insurance companies to have those safeguards, and that's written into the legislation that we know is going to open up the doors for some of the larger carriers or some other carriers to increase capacity or risk. So we're looking forward to that. I think that's really important in step one. As far as like the insurance is concerned and what we do for our clients, one of the biggest conversations we're going to have is going to be interstate traveling. We're going to have a lot of risk with just being on the road and cargo and commercial auto coverages, and how that affects when you go into states. And so we're looking forward to that. And we know that's going to be bringing a lot of opportunity for our agents.
Excellent. So does that come up in some states where, let's say they do not have distribution licenses? Let's say I'm a grower and it's almost an implied license that I can drive my product to a manufacturer. Does that factor into how you'd evaluate me versus a state like California that has a wholesale sort of process in there?
Sure. Yeah. If it shouldn't be implied, you should have a license for it. If there's not a licensing system around in your state, we'll ask you exactly then what are you allowed to do per the state guidelines, because that's how all these policies in the industry work. So we'll ask them, okay, so if you're growing and you're not transporting, then yes, how are you getting your product from point A to point B? Because it is a top of coverage and a risk that we need to know about, our clients need to know about. But more importantly, we do want to be sure that our clients are within the requirements of their state and local licensing, because that is a policy requirement. And if you're not, then these insurance companies will hold you to that. That's your burden to make sure you are, so coverage can be applied when it's necessary.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Manny, looking forward, hopefully we'll be here a year from now. It'll be the 2022 MJBizCon. What do you think is going to happen over the next 12 months? What trends might there be out there that we should be on the lookout for?
I think M&As, that's been happening quite a bit. In the next 12 months, I think people are going to be looking towards the Biden administration to start at least the framework on federal deregulation.
Yep.
I would probably say that's going to happen in 2025, 26, more than likely. I think the industry is just going to grow. We're going to have more states that are going to actually start issuing licenses. There's a few states that's talking a lot about it. New York. Hopefully everybody will see that state open up, and we're just looking forward to growth.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I after sitting in on the financial forum earlier on this week and seeing the slides to talk about growth, you're absolutely right that we see it definitely continuing to move up, and hopefully we'll all be able to enjoy that as we move forward. Yeah. So Manny, thank you so much for coming by and talking to us about OG Insurance Services.
You're very welcome.
Good to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice seeing you again, Ed, and hello everybody out there.
All right.
I am here with my friend Chris from the Marsh Networks, correct?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. What's it like being back at MJBizCon, like after the year that was 2020?
It is surreal, to say the least.
Isn't it really?
Yes, this is my 10th MJBizCon, so I've been to every single one since the beginning. So it's amazing to see the growth and the evolution of the cannabis industry, and you can kind of see it year after year at MJBizCon. So it's great to be back. And what I think about MJBizCon, it's always good to come to MJBizCon and realize the work that we do on a daily basis actually has a greater impact globally. So
that's fantastic.
It's amazing to be here.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially coming here. I haven't seen this really in any other industry where it's like everybody here really wants to help everybody else succeed because they really just want to boost the industry to where it needs to be.
100%. And we all care about the plan, and we all care about the patients. So
absolutely. And that's the most important part about it. It's really refreshing to see, especially in this day and age.
100%.
Yeah. So tell us what you guys are up to. What have you been working on?
Right on. So Marsh Networks, we're a global manufacturer of video surveillance equipment. So we make cameras, hardware and software that powers the systems. Right. So we've been going coast to coast and spreading the word about video surveillance, but also trying to take it to the next level and help people understand they're making these huge investments in their technology suite, and it's not really necessarily the only thing you're going to do is do security and compliance. There's so much more you can do with video or your technology suite. We're trying to help people understand how you can maximize your profits, increase revenue per square foot, and overall operational efficiency through the use of your video or other technologies.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so have you had a good MJBizCon so far? Are you meeting up with a lot of people?
I have had a great MJBizCon. I was able to dodge some shenanigans last night and get some rest, so I'm ready to hit up the...
That's funny. Yeah, it's interesting, MJBizCon, people swinging in here at noon. Right?
Yes.
We know what's up. We know what's going on.
Absolutely. I wish I was one of them, but I had a booth.
I know. Yeah. We got it's business first. I know. Maybe maybe like tomorrow night, you know?
Tonight I'm going to have a really good time. I'm going to
There you
the Zodiac party, and those are always fun, the Sensi and Fairchild party. So I'm glad they combined forces and decided to have one big awesome party, and we're going to see what it is. But yeah, I've made the mistake in years past of staying up way too late on the first couple of days.
You got to live. You got to do it at least once.
Yeah, you got to have fun.
Absolutely.
So
how are you all utilizing the Cannabis Media database?
You know what? The Cannabis Media database has really been invaluable.
Awesome.
One, it gives us a ton of research on the cannabis industry. We're able to understand which markets are hot based on what the activity levels are. We've got quite a not a large sales team, but there's 10 or 15 of us, and then we've got an inside sales team, and they've really embraced the Cannabis Media platform to find out who to talk to, find out what brands are linked to which brands, understand who they're talking to before they go into a call, and based on the information that we're gathering from Cannabis Media, it's been super invaluable for us, and we've been getting a ton of business as a result. Our entire marketing team is basing on kind of what their marketing plan or where they're going to target their target markets based on what the information they're getting from Cannabis Media on the markets that are hot, so they can shift their if it's a bigger enterprise play, they can shift their message to enterprise for Illinois or something like that. If it's more of a the license are just being issued, then we have a different type of approach or a different marketing plan for those, and the information that you guys provide lets us do that.
That's fantastic.
It's been great.
I really appreciate you stopping by for a quick minute and chatting with us.
100%.
This is fantastic. It's always great seeing you guys.
Absolutely.
We love working with you. We always talk about you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, and keep up the good work.
No, you keep up the good work.
There we go. Sign up for Cannabis Media.
There we go. Sign up and go talk to this guy. And I am here with my good friend from Easy Trim. How are you, sir?
We go back a good 3 to 4 minutes.
We do. But we go back a good 3 to 4 minutes, but doesn't it feel like we go back a good 30 to 40 years at this point?
It does indeed.
After talking about this, it's
in
unreal, this small world, the connections that you can make here and learn it's just really unreal.
You're an easy guy to connect with.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Stop it. So what's it like being back at MJBizCon after the year that was 2020?
No kidding. Hey, first off, thanks for having me.
By all means, thank you for stopping by,
Thanks
sir.
for having our company, Easy Trim, here, and we appreciate it. It's awesome to be back here. We've as a relatively small company, but a very solid one, these shows are really important to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're also very fun, too. But it's a great way for us to reconnect with current customers, but obviously develop relationships with new ones. Yeah. And we've been fortunate over the years. We've actually done probably, at least 10 shows in the last few months. Yeah, not to the scope of, MJB is kind of the Rose Bowl of the whole deal. It does. But this is, but all of them, it's just been great to be out and about again. Yeah. And you just can't beat face-to-face interaction. It's pretty tough to beat.
You really can't beat that.
I don't think so, especially for what we do, which is fairly tangible. It comes across via video and Zoom calls and phone calls, but there's nothing quite like the hands-on experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about Easy Trim. What have you guys been up to? What are you up to now?
Absolutely.
With all of it.
Again, thank you for asking.
Sure.
We're a company based out of Colorado. We were founded by a gentleman by the name of Joe Black, who was a grower.
Thank you, Joe.
This is going back about a decade now. And he was getting a little bit frustrated with hand trimming and that whole process. And he's just one of those incredibly innovative inventor type people, of which I couldn't be farther from. Yeah. And he created the same trimmer that we've had now for 10 years a decade ago. So it was born out of necessity, but also just being a grower. So, and I think that's why our company, I'm the CEO, which is a fancy title, but I'm far and away the weakest link in the chain. Our team.
I don't believe that for a second.
Please,
you have an amazing team.
Our team is all based on. They've all grown, done a lot of experience. They've run dispensaries. They've had their own trim shops, so they've covered every area of the industry. Which I think, honestly, in the 3.5 years I've been with Easy Trim, I've learned so much from them that it's been like getting your master's in a lot of ways, because as you know, this industry is at least for me, it's just constantly learning and changing and evolving, and that's also what makes it cool too.
Yeah, but that's why I really love coming to conferences like this. And I didn't really know, this is my first time, I really didn't know what to expect. But to see everyone here kind of working together to help each other, to boost the industry as a whole, you don't really see that in a lot of other industries.
It's really true, and of course we have competitors too.
Absolutely.
But there is and that's good.
There's an amicable respect.
The competition rises you up and helps you improve. And what we try to do, at least I try to do, is your biggest competition is usually yourself too.
Absolutely.
And always trying to find ways to improve and enhance what you do. And when you come to one of these, you realize, wow, there's so many different things we can do. It can be a bit overwhelming, so you have to kind of take a deep breath and go step at a time. But there is that a sense of camaraderie here. I think we all feel fairly lucky to be in an industry that goes like this, like most, but it's pretty hard to argue the potential upside and growth and the coolness of it. It's just a neat industry to be in, and I meet folks like you.
Oh, stop it.
So
this is exciting. Yeah, this is my first time here. I didn't really know what to expect, but really getting to touch base with all of our clients and stuff like that. Meet them in person after I've chatted with them on support and everything like that. It's just so cool. It's so cool to connect and actually meet in person.
I get it. And we've been with Cannabiz for I think 3 years now. And I met Davis at a show, I believe, and instant rapport with him. He's a really solid person.
Davis is a great human being.
As is all of the Cannabiz team, and I think that's why it's been for us. Sure, it's a great resource for what you do as far as getting licenses, but it also provides a lot of, I get your daily emails and I get a lot of information from it. So it's really worked well for us, and your support team and staff have always just been very helpful, because as a small company, we need help as far as we don't have our own IT department and those kind of things. So it really provides a heck of a resource for us.
Yeah, so moving into that, how do you guys utilize the database?
Yeah, well, our job, what we do is we build harvesting and trimming equipment, of course. So we work directly with growers. So when we...
Perfect timing.
There you go. So what we love about a Cannabiz is it's pretty tough for us to keep track of licenses. For example, if a new state comes on, be it doesn't matter, Oklahoma or wherever it is, you guys do the heavy lifting on that end, so that provides literally the information for us, and that is invaluable, because for us to track that down is pretty tough to do. So that's our first way of utilizing it, is by utilizing hopefully well-written, effective emails to those licenses to introduce Easy Trim to them.
Absolutely.
And if that works for us and we can schedule a meeting, boy, that's a door we may not have been able to open without Cannabiz. And that's pretty invaluable for our company, and I'm sure for many, actually.
Absolutely.
So that's the nut of it. And then also, again, just the information you guys put out. I get the MJB emails too, of course, and I read them every day, and they're helpful because things are changing so quickly. And there's just so much going on that it's really, you could spend months just trying to stay up with it.
Even reading all the different emails from all the different companies and organizations, you're still not caught up just because it's evolving so quickly.
It really is, and I think, again, as a small but solid company, it's really important that we remain nimble. The great thing about our products is they're kind of adaptable to any size grow, from a backyard home grow to the large companies that we all know the names of, and we can kind of adapt to both. So again, having that type of information on a daily basis really helps us to kind of think, okay, should we go help adjust this direction or go this way? So again, information is power, as they say. It's very helpful.
And that's great. We appreciate the kind words. Especially we have our data team. They kind of work behind the scenes. They don't often get the credit they deserve, but they are fantastic people who put a lot of work into making sure everything is.
That is the name of the game, isn't it? I've been in other businesses, and there are certain principles that just kind of transcend, and that all begins with the peeps, and our team is like I said earlier, I mean, man, these folks they have so much knowledge. And that because they've done, and they've also failed, as they would readily admit.
Well, that's how you learn.
As we have too.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to.
Yeah.
And it's not, I guess it's not necessarily failure if you learn from it.
And
so
that's the biggest thing.
We kind of look at, we're all pretty big fans of the book The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, which I don't know if you've ever read, but
I haven't, but I'm going to now.
It's really a tremendous book, and all his work is, but we always try to remind ourselves of that when we make mistakes, which we do, and go, okay, how do we learn from it? How do we handle it too?
Yeah.
That's the biggest part, is how do you handle it with your customer base? And
Absolutely.
just come right out and say, hey, we messed this up. Here's what we'll do to fix it.
Well, especially in an industry that's still growing, it's still super easy
Big
to
time.
do that.
It is,
and
yeah.
luckily, everybody in this industry kind of understands that as well. So everyone's a little more patient with each other. We
do find that overall, and no one feels worse than we do, because we know, man, the love, literally, that goes into growing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard work.
It really is.
I mean, there's art, there's science, you know, and I didn't grow up on a farm, but I did grow up in Iowa. So I was surrounded by agriculture area, and my mom's side of the family were all farmers. So I have kind of a running knowledge of how difficult farming is. But this just reiterates it, whether I go to a small grow or some of these just huge grows. It's like, man, oh man, there is a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah.
And you can feel, as you kind of alluded to, you can feel the passion part of it too, because it's really fun to talk to these growers, because their eyes just light. It's their baby, you know?
It really is.
And,
and you know, and that's another thing, in a lot of other industries, you don't get that passion that comes with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, these growers are fantastic, and we try to the best of our ability to honor that, because you spend all that time growing that plant. So by the time you trim and harvest it, we want to make sure we honor that and show that plant the same respect and love, really, is the word. So that's what's cool about it too. So yeah, that's our story. We're in beautiful Colorado. Where Joe started it, like I said, about a decade ago, and right about when legalization happened in Colorado. Fantastic. So he's the guy you want on the podcast. You want to talk about interesting.
People definitely.
He has seen
Joe up on that if you're interested.
He's seen and done it all. In fact, all our team has. Their combined history in the industry is pretty impressive.
And that experience helps make your product what it is.
Oh, dude. It really does. Yeah, you learn as you go, and we hopefully continue to try to improve, but we're proud of what we're doing, what we've done, and optimistic about the future. You know, despite COVID and everything going on, I am far from a prophet, but there's a lot smarter people than me that can predict where the industry's going, but I don't think I'm sticking my neck out by saying it's going to grow and change. It's going to grow and change, you know.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what we have to try to continually be prepared for. Yeah. So it's fun, man.
Yep. Well, thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout you out for putting this product on the market, putting this team together.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you, Dave, for stopping by.
Such a pleasure,
and
man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Take care. We're easytrim.com, just in case you want to find us.
Robert. Good seeing you, man. What's
up,
it like
Ross?
being back at MJBizCon, like post-COVID?
Oh my God! Every year it gets bigger and bigger. I didn't know what to expect. We're not wearing our masks, breaking all the rules right now, but it's. I was definitely surprised by how large it is. You know, there's a whole new room over there. We've got that room back there is completely filled up. I think 2019 was the last real Vegas BizCon, and they didn't even have this room all the way filled up.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting. It just shows how much the industry's actually grown even over the past 2 years.
100%.
In the middle of the pandemic, which is incredible. It says a whole lot about the industry.
I mean, when they make cannabis an essential product, I think all the projections, at least from what we were looking at, the projections that they were writing about the growth of the industry were pretty much had to be rewritten from on the good side. Grew much quicker than anticipated. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're in packaging, and so that's great for packaging companies like ourselves.
I bet.
Our brands and our customers are.
So talk about what Royal Supply actually does.
Yeah, Royal Supply works with brands, B2B brands, working with manufacturing their packaging. So, you know, here's something right here. But we've got a full in-house design team. But yeah, it's all B2B sales on high volume packaging.
That's awesome.
Pretty straightforward.
So how do you utilize the Cannabis Media database?
So Cannabis Media has been great from a number of different avenues, actually. So we've got a sales team, a traditional sales team that has those B2B relationships, and from just a research perspective, they're making their campaigns off of it, whether or not they are actually utilizing the email and marketing features within the platform, or we are taking it just as a research thing, kind of curating our own list to be able to make calls or whatever. And then on the flip side of that, we've got our internal marketing team that is going to be utilizing the email aspects of things.
That's fantastic.
And we've got our own email programs that we use in-house that have our lists and everything, but it is incredibly easy to utilize those same emails, transfer them over into Cannabis Media, and you've got 100,000 plus companies that you can now reach out to and access. So we definitely don't like to do the spammy markety kind of just throw a bunch at the wall and see what fits.
And that's good. We love hearing that more than anything, that you actually do it the right way.
I mean, we've definitely tried both ways. We didn't go in this knowing everything. It's like, oh man, these not getting the best responses, but then you got to curate your messages to sprinkle in some content as well as a little bit of marketing gimmicky stuff. But
absolutely, man. Well, listen, you work with Julian, right?
I do. Julian's the man.
Julian is the man. You heard that. I'm sending this clip to you, Julian.
What's up, Julian?
Yeah, he's going to see this. All right, man.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate you stopping by. This was awesome. And we'll be posting this on social media probably afterwards. We're going to be sure and tag you all because we love having you guys as clients, and really appreciate you stopping by.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Ross. I appreciate it.
Well, Tony, welcome to Cannabis Media and our podcast. This is exciting because we never get to do them in person. So welcome to the booth and welcome to MJ Biz. So tell us a little bit about your company.
Great. So Canna Carton is a packaging manufacturer. We make all kinds of cannabis packaging, and we have a lot of traditional clients as well.
Yep.
But we focus greatly on child-resistant, pouches, boxes, labels, tubes and jars, and different things like that.
Got it. And are you also in other industries besides cannabis?
We are. So the parent company, Carton Craft, has been around for over 30 years. We serve very large companies, the likes of the S&P 500.
Yep.
And a few years ago, we saw an opportunity to help cannabis companies have a more reliable supply chain.
Yep.
And to help them, manage their growing businesses. So we jumped in with both feet, and it's been wonderful.
Excellent. So you're based in Illinois, but what is your customer set like? Are they all based in the Midwest? Do you have them nationwide, worldwide? Tell us a little bit about how you reach.
They're all over.
Yeah.
They're all over the United States. We do have a large focus and emphasis on the Midwest.
Yep.
But we have customers in most every legal market in the States.
Excellent.
We haven't started sending anything overseas yet, but
hey, it'll be here before too long, I'm sure.
Right.
So in terms of things that happen in the industry, for Cannabis Media, we're always excited when new states come on because it means that someday, not quickly, new licenses will come out of the state. What does that mean for you? Like in my part of the country, the whole Northeast is awash with new programs.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything for you? Like for your sales team, what do you do?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's good for us to try and make relationships early on. When the markets are young, there are different challenges than when the markets are mature.
Yeah.
And there's different demands on the producers and the cultivators, and it's all coming from the customer, right?
Yep.
So in those early markets where things are just coming on, there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, and sometimes the markets are just immature and they need a little guidance. So we get in there as early as we can to try and help those folks deal with any of the challenges that may not have been in their purview before that. They may have not even known what some of the challenges of packaging and sourcing might be, so we get in there and try and give them good guidance.
So, and does that guidance help with the compliance side? Like I know in Connecticut, on the marketing side, when they rolled out the program, they put out like an 18-page PDF that had every rule and reg, and I think it was the same that was true for like tobacco, and they sort of borrowed that from the Federal Trade Commission. Is that some of the guidance and advice you're able to give your clients?
Well, every state has its own, as you know, compliance.
Thank goodness. That's why we're in business.
Right, exactly. So, we do advise our customers to work closely with their teams and their legal advisors to make sure that their compliance is appropriate for their market and for the product that they're marketing. But we can be a good resource and a good sounding board. And of course, once they know exactly where they need to be for compliance, we can guide them into the right packaging.
Well, and as you said before, since you're in multiple states, in some ways you're like, if you will, a packaging MSO. This is not your first rodeo, and you know what the rules are like in other places, so that when people are choosing a firm on the packaging side, knowing that you've had to comply and package in other states has to be a big help.
Yeah, you know, people see that we're out there. They know who we're helping, and they do gain a lot of confidence, I think, seeing that other companies have had success working with us in various markets. But there's a lot of commonalities, you know, between the different markets. There's different nuances, really, you know, and each state has its own advisors that tell them what they should be thinking about. But by and large, there's a lot in common.
Yeah. And as each state, as we joke, is sort of its own sovereign nation with its own rules and regulations that people need to be, cognizant of. Got to ask you, how to use cannabis media and the platform to, hopefully help you achieve those goals?
Great. So cannabis media is good for a couple things. It's good for us to help generate new leads and try and find some of the contacts that may not have been as readily available. It's pretty reliable.
Good.
It's great. You guys do a very nice job, or they do. Basically, if somebody calls us and we don't know who they are, we also need to make sure that they've got proper credentials or license, and that's another good resource that we use.
Good. Yeah, so sort of the validation piece. So that makes total sense. So here we are. It's been 2 years since we've had a conference here. Everybody's looking forward. Any trends that you're seeing, Tony, that we should be thinking about as we finish 2021 and head into 2022?
Yeah, what we're seeing a lot of so far is automation. So totally to be expected, and that ties in well for us as a packaging supplier. We like to work closely with people's automation suppliers or partners to make sure that we're aligning the packaging with the automation solution, and that if there is an automation solution ahead of the packaging, we're being very thoughtful about marrying those two so that there's optimum efficiency, which a lot of times leads to better quality of product for customers. So things like heat sealing different products in to maintain the integrity of the product, or using things that would prevent light from degrading the product. We also see, to your initial question, what are we seeing? Innovation around materials. So people are asking more about what's this plastic made out of? Is it sustainable?
Sustainable.
Compostable? Do you have a compostable pouch material? And so we've worked hard over the last few years to develop solutions for a lot of these questions. Like I told you, the parent company's been around for a long time, and it's always been focused on sustainability. Also, I'm active in the NCIA Packaging and Labeling Committee, which is a great resource. If you're not aware of it, check that out. They have white papers on sustainable packaging, and a lot of people that are active with it are pushing sustainable resources and alternatives to traditional packaging.
Excellent.
A lot of innovation happening.
Yeah, well, so keep an eye out for packaging and for automation as the future trends. You heard it here first from Tony. So thanks very much for coming by and talking with us.
All right, thanks, Ed.
All right.